In the year 31 AD, Jesus stood on the temple steps in Jerusalem with his disciples and prophesied the destruction of the temple. Titus, commander of the Roman army, stood on the same steps 39 years later and tried to save the temple from destruction. Not one stone of the temple is to be touched, Titus commanded his soldiers. We must preserve this magnificent building for the glory of Rome. It is one of the 7 wonders of the world, he said. Then, turning towards the Jewish leaders who had fortified themselves in the temple, he said, "Please do not force me to defile this sacred place with blood." The leaders of the Jews hid themselves within the temple. He continued to plead with them and said, "Come forth, let us fight in another place, and I promise you, we will not violate the sanctity of your temple." However, instead of surrender, the Jews from within cursed the commander and threw darts at the soldiers. Titus saw it was no use to beg further. He planned an assault on the temple, hoping to kill the leaders, but save the temple and its golden furnishings. That night, while Titus slept, a fire broke out in the temple. A soldier threw a blazing torch which had entered through a latticed window of a porch. In moments, the rich draperies and cedar-lined walls were totally on fire. Titus and his officers entered the burning building to try and put out the flames. But when the soldiers saw the flames reflected in the rich gold decorations, they would not be contained. They imagined what wonders must be in the sanctuary behind those locked doors. One of them tried to set fire to the hinges, and soon the flames were too fierce to withstand. The soldiers grabbed what they could of the treasures and left the building blinded by smoke and overcome by the intense heat. Titus watched from afar as the whole summit of the temple hill blazed like a volcano. He saw one after another of the temple buildings collapse with a mighty crash. Within a few hours, the temple, which had taken 9 years to build, with the labor of 18,000 men, was completely destroyed. After the fires cooled, the stones were all removed from their places, in the mad desire to seek treasures buried between those stones. The whole city and the temple were completely flattened. Christ's prophecy was fulfilled. Titus carried back the temple treasures to Rome to celebrate his victory. In Rome today, you can see the triumphal arch built in honor of Titus and the victory. There you will see carvings of the 7-branched candlesticks, the silver trumpets, the golden table of showbread, which he brought back as trophies of war. The Arch of Titus is a reminder of the truth of God's word and the fate of those who reject Jesus and his truth. Today, will you obey the truth that is found in Jesus' words?